Upadhyay, and you're watching Namaste World, your daily window into the biggest stories shaping India and the world. We begin in South Asia. Across Pakistan, hundreds and thousands of fake doctors are endangering lives, exposing deep cracks in an already fragile healthcare system. In West Asia, a secret Iranian supply line is fueling Myanmar's air war, enabling deadly strikes on schools, hospitals, and villages. Built in Cold War secrecy, America's D-21 spy drone crashed into enemy heads. How did it reshape rival drone technology? This Republic Day, India honored courage beyond Earth as an astronaut received the Ashok Chakra, redefining bravery itself. But the biggest news of the day, India and European Union have sealed a historic free trade agreement, launching a new era of economic and strategic partnership. All that and more. Global flashpoints, power plays, and stories that matter coming up in this edition of Namaste World. So stay tuned. Today marks a historic turning point in India-EU relations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and European leaders have announced what's being called the mother of all deals, the landmark India-EU Free Trade Agreement. This pact brings together the world's second and fourth largest economies, creating a market of nearly 2 billion people. Under the agreement, tariffs on almost 97% of European exports to India will be reduced or eliminated, while Indian exporters gain unprecedented access to EU markets, a major boost for manufacturing, service, and labor-intensive sectors. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen called it a perfect example of win-win partnership, while European Council President Antonio Costa said that the deal shows leadership at a time of global uncertainty. Global trade, India and EU agreed to deepen cooperation on defense, security, mobility, innovation, and clean technology. As Prime Minister Narendra Modi puts it, this is not just an FTA. It's a new blueprint for shared prosperity in a turbulent world. Across Pakistan, hidden medical emergency is unfolding as hundreds and thousands of unqualified fake doctors treat patients in unregulated clinics, spreading diseases and causing preventable deaths. How did illegal medicine become normalized in the country's healthcare system? Here is a report by Farhan Khan.
Across Pakistan, a silent health crisis is unfolding, and it has little to do with a shortage of hospitals or medicines. The problem is far more dangerous. Hundreds of thousands of unqualified doctors treating patients without licenses, training, or accountability. In villages and urban fringes alike, makeshift clinics operate out of roadside shops and small rooms. There are no signboards, no registration numbers, and no proof of medical authority. Yet for many poor communities, these centers are the first and often only place to seek treatment. Health professionals say this is not an exception, it is the norm. According to the Pakistan Medical Association, more than 600,000 fake doctors are operating nationwide, a figure supported by health regulators. Many learn basic procedures while working alongside qualified doctors, then open their own clinics without understanding diagnosis, dosage, or side effects. The consequences are severe. These unlicensed practitioners routinely reuse syringes, infusion tubes, and medical instruments that should be disposed of after one use. Equipment is often just rinsed with water rather than sterilized, increasing the spread of hepatitis, HIV, and other infectious diseases. Hospitals at the top of the healthcare pyramid are paying the price. Major public hospitals, especially in cities like Karachi, are overwhelmed by patients whose conditions have worsened after incorrect treatment. Doctors report seeing cases that should never have reached emergency wards, except that initial care went dangerously wrong. Regulatory bodies admit they are struggling to control the problem. Health commissions lack manpower, funding, and legal authority. Clinics shut down one day often reopen elsewhere the next. The law offers little deterrence, with offenders quickly securing bail. Enforcement teams also face serious risks. Inspectors have been threatened, detained, and even attacked while attempting to shut illegal clinics, particularly in areas where fake doctors enjoy local influence. Beyond the health impact, the economic cost is devastating. Families spend what little they have on faulty treatment, only to face crippling hospital bills when complications arise. In many cases, patients are left permanently disabled or die from conditions that could have been treated safely. In Pakistan's healthcare crisis, fake doctors are not just a symptom of poverty. They are accelerating the collapse of trust, safety, and care in a system already under strain. Bureau Report, India Today Global.
A village school bombed, children killed, hospitals destroyed, and behind Myanmar's escalating air war lies a hidden supply line fueling nationwide brutality. How did Iran's shadow tankers secretly deliver jet fuels and bomb materials that doubled civilian airstrikes? Here is a report by Dibangana Datta.
October 13th, 2025. A Myanmar warplane drops a bomb on a remote village school. 2 children die, 22 are wounded. Minutes later, a drone strikes again. The terrified survivors now sleep in the jungle, too scared to return home. According to a Reuters investigation, that bombing raid and over 1,000 others targeting civilians was made possible by a secret lifeline stretching across the Indian Ocean, Iran's shadow fleet. Reuters tracked 2 Iranian oil tankers, Reef and Noble, making covert 5,500-kilometer voyages from Iran to Myanmar. Their cargo? Jet fuel, enough to power thousands of bombing sorties. The ships use a technique called spoofing, faking their locations to appear hundreds of kilometers away while loading fuel at Iranian ports. From October 2024 to December 2025, Iran delivered 175,000 tons of jet fuel to Myanmar's military junta. The result? Airstrikes on civilian targets more than doubled. Schools, hospitals, villages. On December 10th, a junta warplane bombed a 300-bed hospital in Rockyu, killing at least 30 people and injuring over 70. But Iran is not just supplying fuel. Reuters found the regime is also shipping hundreds of thousands of tons of urea, a key ingredient in the junta's bombs and explosives. Defected soldiers confirmed the military uses it to manufacture munitions dropped from drones and paragliders. The deliveries violated Western sanctions on both countries. For Iran's embattled theocracy, reeling from Israeli strikes and economic collapse, Myanmar is a desperately needed customer. For Myanmar's military dictatorship, Iranian fuel has shifted the dynamics of a 5-year civil war. The UN Special Rapporteur on Myanmar put it bluntly, this fuel from Iran is literally fueling mass atrocities. As Reuters reports, the shadow tankers keep moving, spoofing their locations, delivering destruction, enabling horror. The Dibangana Datta, Bureau Report, India Today Global.
Built in total secrecy during the Cold War, a US spy drone flew faster and higher than any unmanned aircraft before it then crashed into enemy hands. How did America's D-21 end up shaping Russian and Chinese drone technology? Here is a report by Farhan Khan.
This is the story of one of America's most secretive drones, so advanced that both Russia and China ended up studying its wreckage. Long before today's AI-powered drones, Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works built the D-21 in the 1960s. It was an unmanned high-speed spy drone designed to do what humans no longer could: fly deep into hostile airspace after the U-2 spy plane disaster. In 1960, a US U-2 aircraft was shot down over the Soviet Union, embarrassing Washington. and forcing President Eisenhower to ban manned spy flights over communist territory. Satellites were still unreliable, but intelligence was urgently needed, especially on China's growing nuclear program. That's when the CIA turned to Skunk Works legend Kelly Johnson. The result was the D-21, a drone that looked like science fiction. It could fly at over Mach 3, soar nearly 95,000 feet high, and travel thousands of kilometers. Instead of a pilot, it carried a camera. After taking photos, it would eject the film mid-air using a parachute to be recovered by US aircraft. Because its ramjet engine needed extreme speed to work, the D-21 had to be launched from another aircraft. Initially, it was carried on a modified SR-71 called the M21. But in 1966, disaster struck. During a launch, the drone collided with its mothership at Mach 3. One crew member died and the entire launch concept was scrapped. Undeterred, Lockheed tried again, this time using B-52 bombers. The updated D-21B was launched over China between 1969 and 1971 as part of a mission codenamed Senior Bowl. None of the 4 missions fully succeeded. Some drones failed to photograph targets, others lost their film, and one crashed in China's Yunnan province. One drone overshot its route and crashed in Siberia. And that's where things get interesting. The Soviet Union recovered the wreckage and quietly studied it. Years later, a fragment of that drone was reportedly returned to the CIA. Russian aviation historians later confirmed that multiple Soviet defense firms were tasked with analyzing the D-21's materials, heat-resistant design, and reconnaissance technology. China, meanwhile, displayed its recovered D-21 wreck publicly. Many analysts believe modern Chinese drones like the WZ-8 show clear design similarities to the American original. By 1971, the D-21 program was cancelled as spy satellites took over. But its legacy lived on, not just in US aerospace history, but in the laboratories of its rivals. A drone built in secrecy ended up shaping the future of unmanned warfare on both sides of the Cold War divide. With Farhan Khan, Bureau Report, India Today Global.
On Kartavya Path this Republic Day, India honored bravery beyond the battlefields as astronaut received nation's highest peacetime gallantry awards. Does this mark a new definition of courage that now stretches from Earth to outer space? Here's a report by Harsh Mishra.
India's Republic Day celebrations on Kartavya Path this year carried a historic first, not just on Earth, but beyond it. On January 26th, President Draupadi Murmu conferred the Ashok Chakra, India's highest peacetime gallantry award, on Indian Air Force Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, making him only the second astronaut in India's history to receive this honor. Since independence, he is only the second astronaut to be conferred with the Ashok Chakra, which is usually awarded for bravery in battlefield. But moments like these show how the definition of bravery has evolved from battlefields to outer space. Shubhanshu Shukla scripted history last June when he became the first Indian to visit the International Space Station and only the second Indian to travel to space after Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma's mission in 1984. Shukla flew to the ISS as part of the Axiom Mission 4, executed by the US-based private firm Axiom Space. Serving as the pilot of the AX-4 mission, he played a crucial role in the spacecraft's launch, orbital insertion, docking and undocking at the ISS, and its re-entry and landing. During his 18-day stay aboard the ISS, Shukla conducted India-specific scientific experiments aimed at supporting future human spaceflight missions and generating insights that could benefit life on Earth. The Ashok Chakra awarded to Shukla is significant because it recognizes bravery beyond conventional combat roles. Traditionally, the award is bestowed upon military personnel for showing most conspicuous bravery. By honoring an astronaut, the government has underlined the risks, courage, and professionalism involved in space exploration. History notably has repeated itself. In 1984, Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma became the first Indian in space aboard a Soviet Soyuz aircraft. A year later, he was awarded the Ashok Chakra, while his backup, Air Commodore Ravish Malhotra, received the Kirti Chakra. 4 decades later, a similar pattern has emerged. Shukla's colleague IAF Group Captain Prashant B. Nair, who served as the backup crew for the Axiom 4 mission, has been awarded the Kirti Chakra. Both Shukla and Nair are among the 4 astronauts likely to undertake India's first human spaceflight mission, Gaganyaan, expected in the first half of 2027. Both officers have trained extensively at Russia's Yuri Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center in Star City, Moscow, and at Bengaluru's Astronaut Training Center. Born in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh on October 10, 1985, Shubhanshu Shukla was commissioned into the fighter stream of the Indian Air Force in 2006. A seasoned fighter pilot, he has logged over 2,000 hours of flying, operating aircrafts ranging from the Sukhoi 30 MKI and MiG-29 to Jaguars and Hawks and transport aircraft. Shukla is now set to play a key role in India's expanding human spaceflight ambitions, including Gaganyaan, the Bharatiya Antariksh Station, and future lunar missions. The decision to award the Ashok Chakra to an astronaut after 4 decades sends a clear message. India now recognizes that courage is not confined to the ground or the battlefield. It extends even beyond Earth. With Harsh Mishra, Bureau Report, India Today Global.
As we wrap up today's show, here's a quick look at the top stories making waves around the world. A tourist boat carrying French nationals capsized off Oman's coast, killing 3 people and triggering an emergency response, authorities have confirmed. Japan's Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi warned that turning away from a Taiwan conflict would collapse the US alliance, while stressing any response would remain within constitutional limits. North Korea fired multiple short-range ballistic missiles into the sea as US and South Korea held high-level talks on reshaping their defense posture. And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Namaste World. From breakthrough in technology and business to political developments and disasters. Stay tuned as we bring you the latest updates, key developments, and more from New Delhi to New York. See you again tomorrow, same time, right here on Namaste World.